We're live, boys.
There it goes. What is up, y'all? Welcome to the Angery Nation Podcast. What's happening? We got a full house tonight. And since Emery is going to be on hiatus for a while, Donnie Dunn's going to be sitting in and occupying a chair. And it's a good thing he is tonight, because tonight we're going to be talking with Kyle Gahagan, Gahagan Customs, who's manufacturing the Dalton for us.
The
in
man.
His awesome shop. And Alan's got that one already up in the mountains, put it to use. So we're going to get a torture test out of it. And, of course, we got Mr. T. Toombs in the house with his brand newly minted Magistrate wife. So you got to fly straight from now on, bro.
Yeah.
Man, I always wanted a judge in my pocket.
I was talking to Mel about that, and I was like, her voice is so quiet and soft, though. I just don't know if I could take her serious as a judge. And I'm like, I'm sure that's led to a lot of dudes getting punched in the nose over the years.
There's been
underestimating Amber.
You can't handle the truth.
You got to watch Amber, though, because she tried to give me a ticket back when she was Wilkesboro PD. You know, because I took off a little fast. Luckily, her training officer, her sergeant, blocked her off. But she was going for it. I didn't think she would, but that's how she rolls. I said, look, that ticket comes out of a joint account, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's
you're going to pay half of it. Sue, the hell are you doing this evening, brother?
I'm doing pretty good tonight. Everything. Of course, what's that old adage? Everything with tires and tits give you problems. I've had everything break down this week, but I got most of it running again.
I got back from Blade Show, and the AC was out in the house. And then Mel's truck, in Florida, it was 88 degrees in the house. Mel, and then a window wouldn't go up Mel's truck, and so yeah, it took a little sorting out, but got it all done. Everything's handled, all working again. So
it's funny you should mention windows. We had a window problem too, right, Kyle?
We did. My wife decided to lock the keys in the truck in the middle of the ghetto in Atlanta.
Oh shit!
I had to bust the rear window out and drive home without a window.
What day was that? Sunday?
Friday?
Saturday.
Friday
and Saturday night. Yeah.
You should have hollered at me, man. I keep a pop-a lock set in my truck. I can get into any car. I've got.
Well, we were outside of Atlanta, just outside.
Oh my God, that'd be awful. I had to go and pop Mel's car.
We're in the truck.
Oh shit! I had to go pop Mel's truck the other day because she locked hers in the truck at a convenience store. But I was in her truck in about 5 minutes. Didn't take me long at all. So.
Oh yeah.
Surprising how ezy it is when you got the right shit.
Oh yeah. I have a master lockout kit, 2 of them. I went into a hardware store to pick up some material. I come back out. I locked my keys in the work truck. This is in Indiana. And I looked in and I could see my master lockout kit sticking out from underneath the trunk seat. I realized it really didn't do me much good. So that's where we started carrying an extra key.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah. Well, let's talk. Since we've got Kyle on here, Gahagan Customs, master bladesmith, and Donnie in the house, who is also I'm not going to call him a master bladesmith, but he's damn sure a very knowledgeable bladesmith. And T, who is, you guys may not know yet, but Tombstone Blade Works, right?
That's it.
Show it, Chris.
Tombstone Blade Works is T's business, and I got to purchase be his first customer and get his tomahawk. This thing, man, is so very nice. I love this thing. I don't know what to do with it though. I don't want to use it because I don't want to beat it to shit. But at the same time, I don't want a wall hanger, so I'm gonna have to find a happy medium for that.
Well, I think human tissue and skull and stuff like that, I don't think hurts them that bad. So
no.
What does it matter with you?
Not at just chopping on trees and stuff like that.
Talk about getting medieval on somebody.
Yeah, give it to
Says the guy I watched.
Real good.
Yeah, says the guy that I watched fight medieval armor in a pit one time, Donnie. What'd you say, Sue?
I said, give it to me, and I'll throw it at Carl to see if that exaggerated story of his when I threw a tomahawk at him in Afghanistan. We'll see if it knocks out a softball chunk of concrete out of the wall.
Softball concrete.
I have faith that it'll work. That makes for a good story too. Went from tomahawk to warhammer to warhawk.
Yeah, tomahawk to warhawk. Hell yeah. So Kyle, what's on the in the future? And if I'm walking over you guys and it's acting up a little bitty bit, hopefully it'll be all right. But what's in the future for Gahagan Customs, man? What do you guys got coming up that everybody in the world needs to know about?
Well, I mean, we just released the Joe Ted Eye. We're releasing the Dalton, of course. Well, we're building the Dalton for you to release.
Yeah.
Well, we've got some stuff designed coming up. I'm not quite sure what we're going to be producing first, but we've got some stuff in the works. Kind of sit back and see what's going to happen there.
Nice. The Dalton is there's much anticipation behind it. I think as soon as that pre-order goes up, they're going to evaporate and be gone.
Yes, I mean, as soon as you said something about it on your feed, I got about 15, 20 messages asking me when it was going to be available, and I'm like, I'm not selling it.
I'll sell it for $329. What you need?
Still awesome. You know, it's still awesome that there's that much interest and that they're reaching out even to you guys. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Because we put it on Twitter, and I put it on Twitter, and there's a bunch of replies there. One guy did say that's the gayest he'd ever seen.
Yeah,
I can't please them all. I don't care. So,
yeah, haters gonna hate. You're always gonna have some haters.
And you guys had some nice stuff to blade, man. That Ted-Eye blade, I really like that thing. That's a nice hunk of steel.
Good knife.
So
all of them.
We also have Alan is going to be working on a design here. We're going to take the sock P, modify that a little bit, come up with a slightly modified design for that, and we're going to have you doing those for us here in the near future as well, probably.
Okay.
Those will be easy though. You just cut them things out.
Sweet. Oh yeah. And remember too, that one that you've got Alan chopping with.
I can't.
What's that?
Hold on,
Can you hear us now?
You keep going. I'm not hearing nobody again.
But what I was saying is the blade that Alan is testing out. That was the
somebody can talk about it. I can't hear y'all.
That one was handmade.
Run with this for a minute if I can get this figured out.
Yeah, no, you're good, man. I guess he can't hear us. You know, so but the Dalton that we brought to blade is actually handmade. That thing was handmade, hand ground, the whole bit, because that's the prototype. So for all y'all people out there, start hitting Alan and Chris up. Maybe they'll auction that thing off, because that is, of course, handmade, not machined. Along with Alan K is beating the crap out of it as we speak. That makes it worth something right there.
If he's got some sweat on
$10 grand for that thing, because it was a pain in the freaking butt to grind.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, Chris, didn't I say? I'm like,
the
grind. He goes, yeah.
They said that grind was a bitch. I know, and it came out beautiful, man. It came out awesome. So
yeah, you know, I seen Kyle turn a couple different colors of red there for a little bit. Then he'd come back down, finish that little convex sweeping grind that bleeds into the other 18 angles. And then that was it. We got it wrapped up. Looked good. Everything turned out. And no, that was a good looking blade. I think that's going to be a big seller. And of course, the knife that we made for your character, I'm really excited about.
That's going to be the next one. I haven't even posted pictures of it. I haven't posted pictures of that one yet. We haven't talked about it.
Don't even show it. Somebody steal that.
I'm gonna. I've got a guy. I got a leathersmith in Louisiana who we're gonna do a Kydex sheet for it, but I'm gonna offer a leather option because he does beautiful leather work, and I've got it in a real nice leather one he made for me. And
Nice.
so we're going to offer it in 2 ways. And then, you know, Donnie and I are already talking about the THAAD, which will be another one that we'll be doing.
So Chris, you want to
give us
at some point tonight go through just a little
talk about it, man. Yeah. Let's tell them what Dalton does.
When you look at the blade, it kind of has a post-apocalyptic zombie, you know, just taking it. Now, this isn't the actual one, but this is another one. So it kind of looks evil. I mean, it looks like something that you would find in one of the magazines or whatnot. And I understand
Book of Eli. Some of that Book of Eli blade stuff.
But I don't care how badass you are if you don't look good doing it, you know? So just real quick, just a couple features so people understand why people that know blades, know bushcraft, know field use are really excited about it. So it's got some interesting features in it. It's got a fairly long blade. So in the leverage on it being a kukri style, it has a really excellent mechanical leverage on it when you chop with it. So it's among some of the better choppers you're ever going to use. And chopping has its place, certainly. Now, one of the great features, and that was something that Alan wanted incorporated, is this kind of curved inner area that's actually sharp. And the way the blade's designed, it's not really flat. It's flat, but it has some kind of organic curves to it a little bit, if you notice. And what that's for is if you take the blade, you can take your hand on the scales and on the blade comfortably, and you can do push cuts with it away from you very safely with complete control with that sharpened inner blade, or you can do pull cuts. So you can push and pull very safely. And one of the things that's taught as among the first things that you learn in bushcraft or even working with a blade is to conserve energy and to be safe, not cut yourself. One of the easiest ways in the world to take off a limb or cut yourself in the field is chopping and getting crazy with it, like with a hatchet or whatnot. So that safety factor is very, very important. The main body of the blade is flat, and it has what's called a high saber grind on it, relatively high saber grind that kind of comes down. So what's great about this too, and one of the techniques that I know I use and a lot of people use is batoning wood. So if you set this in wood and baton with it, you'd be really hard pressed to find a better blade to split and baton wood. It really is a monster on doing that. Now, when it comes to the tips are important, ladies. But I went with kind of a modified American Tonto design. And the reason I did that is if you hold the knife again on the comfortable spine, you can actually scrape with it. It's kind of hard to capture on camera. So if you need to scrape something and whatnot, you've got two comfortable purchases to do that. And the tip of the blade is almost center with the scales. So if you need to take that tip, being a Tonto like that, it's very strong and reinforced. So if you need to draw out a hole or need to drill with it and do that, it's great. You can't really tell in this one because I've got it wrapped with goon tape, but it also going to have a bow drill divot. So if you need to hold the blade in a comfortable position and use your bow drill to kind of create a fire, and of course it's got the back pommel on it. Now the one that Gahagan's making is there's a few features I like better on it, like the scales and whatnot. There's no jimping here. I just didn't think it was super important to have jimping there, but it kind of helps you balance the grip of it. So you got a chopper and you've got a blade that you can do some fine work with. Now, I know Chris is like myself and Alan K and probably these guys. I like a blade system in my pack. I like to have a small fixed blade or even a folder, something that's a slicer and can do super fine cuts and whatnot. This blade will do the heavy lifting, but in a pinch, if that's all you got, you can do quite a bit with this actual knife choking up. If you look at these angles, again, I tried to make it as organic as I could with the swoops and whatnot by design so that it's just a little bit more comfortable to hold. And I believe there's a 90-degree angle on the steel, so you could ignite a fire steel with that as well. That's just the 1,000-foot overview.
I talked to a guy the other day that's got one, and he's it's his one tool now. There's no hatchets or no bullshit. That's the only thing he carries into the woods is that thing. Kyle, how long did it take to grind that blade out? I'm just curious. I know it was the first one. So I want to know, man.
Well, after I screwed up the first one and threw it across the room, the second one took me about, 45 minutes?
Holy shit.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. You threw that one across the room as well, but I went and picked it up, and I was like, "Nah, man. All we need to do is just cut this on the other side and match it up." I like it better because it brought the brought the grind up just a little bit higher. I think helped it a little bit. We brought that up a little higher, and then from tip to tip, that thing is right at 13 3/4 inches.
Nice.
And so it fit, and I will give you I really like that horrible grind that Kyle hates, because you get all that grip, and for a draw knife, that thing is phenomenal.
Yes.
It's got great, but the draw knife feature, the angles that your
This
hand
part right
comes
here.
back, and kind of like
It's
that's
a
just like a
transition
tree
from
that you have.
If you catch
Reminds me of
something
drag
in this
bars.
area, if you catch something at rope or whatever you're trying to cut, I mean, it's as effective as a good hatchet. I like to think it's in a Goldilocks zone for blades, because it's a big blade, but it's not too big. It's not like you're using a big mammoth blade, so it's a little bit easier to carry. It's heavy, but not too heavy. Was it 1/4 inch stock you're using on that, Kyle?
Quarter inch stock.
We brought it down to 1/4 inch just to give it a little better edge geometry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So raising that grind 1/4 inch, 13
Actually,
3/4
I mean,
tip
it's
to
slightly
tip
over. It's 0.29.
Yeah.
So it's
close.
heavy quarter, and then stone washed it, tumbled it, gives it this nice. It's not just looks either. It makes it real good for rust inhibitor, and of course the scales, the scales on the handle are just. That was something we all threw around, and I was like, yeah, we've got to do this because it looks way too cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. So
the topo thing on the scales came out amazing. It looks so good. Like that was a brilliant.
Now you want to talk about you want to talk about the box, Chris? What the idea?
Oh, yeah,
We'll leave it up.
Go tell him. No, we'll tell him to shit. The box is being done with the same topo design on it. It's going to look badass.
We're doing a topo, and the topo will actually, we're incorporating the Angery American skull in the topo, so it'll all be the same color contrast. That'll be your box, and then off to the right, you'll see the Umatilla with the lake right there. Will be part of the topo that I like, and so it all blends together. It's a nice little bonus feature to the blade.
That's cool. I like that a lot. I'm looking forward to getting them in, because they're going to go quick. Like I said, we'll probably do this next order right on the heels of this first one as soon as they come.
There's been a lot of attempts to make all-in-one tools. Like it kind of started with the Tom Brown tracker. If you guys are familiar, everybody's probably familiar with it.
Oh yeah.
That's not a blade I ever really liked, but it had some useful features to it. And the kukri, Alan Kay kind of put kukri use in bushcraft on the map, I would say. And so that mechanical leverage you get from that. So it took me a while to really incorporate and try to envision a lot of different features into one blade. No blade is perfect, and this one's certainly not at all. So I like the 2-blade system if possible. But for a lot of your woodland use, the thickness of it, the build quality, using the 80 CRV steel is a nice, or 1095, 1075. I like the 80 is a great steel. It holds its edge really well, but it really is Swiss Army knife of knives. I mean, it has a lot of really cool features in a one-use tool to take out in the woods. And I've taken prototypes and stuff out and beat on them and used it to really just see if, hey, is this going to be a legitimate tool? I know a lot of people collect and they're going to take it and it'll be a safe queen. But if you are somebody who wants to have a blade that you can literally take in the most austere environments imaginable, that won't let you down. There's a reason better knives cost more. You can spend $100. There's a difference. And, to have something that's hand ground, hand built, even the choice of the micarta, G10 is a great, if it's not a knife you're using a lot, I think, but I think micarta is the ideal material to have on scales or the handles for you that aren't into knives. Because it gets a little bit grippier as it gets wet, which is a nice touch to it as well.
And what we did there, now that handle is actually a G10 that we flipped to, but that's a textured G10.
Textured G10.
So,
yeah, it's not smooth.
Because G10 in itself that thing, you get a little blood or sweat, that thing go flying out your hand like nobody's business. It's just hard, slick plastic. But that textured G10 is super grippy. It will actually, I mean, if you grab onto that for a while, I mean, you'll see a bunch of little diamond spots in your hand after use. And, it's just like I like a CZ. I'm a big CZ fan, the P10C, because a lot of people are like, oh, it hurts my hand when I'm, shooting that pistol. Well, the last thing you want is something flying out of your hand when you're trying to shoot at something or trying to chop something. So that G10 with the texture is the ticket, man.
What was that grippy stuff
on it? Doesn't let go.
What was that the scales on Joe's knife? That because that stuff's
rubberized, sure grip. Sure
grip. Yes, that's what I was looking for.
So
that stuff's nice.
That's something. Yeah, we're gonna start working with more. The Joe Teti knife, we incorporated those handles for the special edition, of course, is the carbon fiber with the red G10 liners. That's because it's a special numbered edition, 1 through 50. But the production side of it, we added that Sure Grip G10. And I will tell you, that's a layer of G10, a layer of rubber, layer G10, layer rubber. When you grind into that stuff, you get all that rubber exposed. And I mean, you grab onto that and it sticks. It's like putty or something. It just molds right into your hand.
Yeah, that was a badass knife. I really like that blade. It's a good, small, but it has a long enough blade to be effective. It's a great fighting blade. I will own one.
So since you mentioned Swiss Army knife a minute ago, what does everybody think about Swiss Army taking the blade out of their knife?
Right. I'm just hearing this. Please, what?
Look into it. Swiss Army is removing the blade from their knife.
You've got to be kidding.
It's probably just because they're trying to be able to put stuff on the internet. I mean, we get blocked every day for having the word knife.
Good grief.
Well, especially like the UK. The UK, they can't own knives. You can't own pocket knives. You can't have none of that shit. So I guess for UK people, having a Swiss Army knife style thing with a bunch of gadgets on it with no way to cut anything, I don't see why you'd buy one, but it's not a knife anymore. I guess you could call it a multi-tool. I thought that was hilarious when Swiss Army knife said they were going to take the blade off the knife. It's a crazy fucking world we live in. Everything's gone bananas,
It don't solve anything. I mean, UK outlawed guns, and now they're killing each other with knives.
And now they want to outlaw those.
Yeah.
So I watched a video. I saw a video on Twitter today while I was working. There's this guy in his house, and there's somebody outside. He's got his hand in the mail slot and shit, and the guy walks around. There's an open window, and he's trying to crawl through the guy's window. And he's like, "What are you doing?" And I forget the government agency, but he was there from some government agency. It said, "You owe 1,368 pounds in back TV taxes, and we are here to collect in full, or we're going to take $1,300 worth of property from your home." And he goes, "Why are you trying to clear from the window?" He goes, "If a window's open, we're allowed to access the home. They don't need a warrant. They can come right in. If it's open access, they can walk in. If your door's not locked, they can walk in. And
if it pleases the crown."
Yeah, there we go. Yes. I just thought that was insane. Which goes right along with Swiss Army knife taking the blades out of their knives. It's like, this is ludicrous.
I want to ask, did you guys hear anything about this? Was sent to me, and I didn't do any checking on it, but I'm seeing in the Army Times, and you guys cut out, I don't know if it was me, you, I don't know what you were just talking about, but did you see it says that the infantry changed famed blue cord to the rainbow cord for Pride Month? Did you see this?
No, but I don't doubt it at all. I don't.
Let me,
yeah.
Hey.
I wouldn't fucking wear it. I'd be like, no, I'm not going to wear it.
Yeah, there
because,
you go.
Because if we're all equal and we're all in the same army, we should all wear the exact same color all the fucking time and not a special one for a special group of privileged soldiers. So,
well, if anybody can verify that, because I just got it recently, like I said, this thing from the Army Times says that they changed it to a pride cord just for this month.
Wow. Sue, look at Sue. Sue is not the army you're in anymore, is it, bud?
I can't believe we have a Veterans Day, we have a Memorial Day, but if you're gay, you get a whole month. What's up with that?
Show me that picture again.
Yeah, just a second here.
That's crazy.
So
there is a rumor. I didn't verify it either, but there's a rumor in San Diego that the WARCOM, the Navy SEALs.
Yeah, I mean, I got that same picture here, and they got blue cords on.
Oh, someone photoshopped
maybe it was just
that
somebody.
shit.
Maybe I hope and pray that it's just that was just some spoof scam thing.
Yeah, I can't find anything.
Yeah, supposedly, I haven't checked with my Navy SEAL buddies, but supposedly, for Gay Pride Month over in San Diego, they put the warrior on the poster as the thing to be proud of, and it featured Navy SEALs from Coronado Island. I didn't confirm or deny that. I kind of feel dirty if I even try to research it.
Trying to research it.
Or I don't want Carl accusing me of going to the other side.
Gay SEAL.
Who's sitting in the corner of the shower, biting his knees, scalding hot water, pelting his body.
I feel so dirty.
Why? And it's true, though. It's gotten so bad in this world. How sick is the world that I would believe almost anything at this point. Like,
oh, yeah.
Because it's gotten that ridiculous. Years ago, you'd hear something, you'd be like, no, tell me it isn't so. Now it's like, aliens invaded, last night, and, they took people hot. I wouldn't even blink twice. Like, figured the aliens would show up sooner or later.
I've been saying it for years. Like, at this point, you could call me and be like, dude, I just saw a dragon crawl out of a crack in the ground. And I'd be like, did it breathe fire? Like, I wouldn't even be surprised.
Was the fire thing legitimate, or was it just
the border policy, dude?
Well, you guys heard they just arrested 4 ISIS dudes, right? Here, domestically. They're
I just heard that.
Yeah. Just heard 4 of them up.
Good night.
Yeah. Naturally, they crossed along the southern border and just, walked right on in. And I wonder if it's the guys I saw on a video not that long ago that claimed they were Syrians, and they're dressed in 5'11" from head to toe, walking across the southern border.
Right. Yeah. Well, and the 4 that they busted, what about the other 1.3 million, that come over with the 2 million?
Yep.
All fighting age males, what about those guys
Chinese
with all their sleeper cells hanging out? Yeah. Chinese nationals, Russians, Chechnya, you name it. There was everything walking across there. I was like, oh yeah, we're going to help them. They're just looking for a better home.
Yeah, that was like the 2 Syrians. They're standing there. One of them smiling real big. He's like, we love America. It's like, holy shit.
I actually, there was a Spanish guy that was doing it. We just cleared out a bunch of the property, about 1.5 acres. We pulled all the small shrubs out. We got the goats out there, the 4-legged weed eaters chewing away. And the guy he's a Spanish guy. He come over in, I think he said the late 80s, early 90s. And he said he came here because he wanted a better life for him and his family. I was like, I get it. I understand that. He's like, now I'm talking to my family, and he's saying it's looking like I need to go back home. They're saying it's way better over there than it is here in the United States. I was like, I can also see that. There's no doubt. What a role reversal and a coin flip there. We went 180 degrees. He said, he voted for Trump because Trump cared about the United States and the people, the American citizens, and he was an American citizen. He did it legally, legally, came through the border like he was supposed to. And he says now, I'm thinking about packing up and heading home because this is bullshit. So it's pretty bad when the immigrants are heading back to where they come from.
Yeah, the legal ones. That says something. The legal ones want to go home.
Ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great country.
Mind-blowing.
It's a great country. It worries me every day.
So, Chris,
that's
after
why
this
why we
last
have
conversation,
good
I just want to go out on a limb. Say, Will Gomez, I just want you to know we support the gay community, and we're not anti-gay at all. So just don't be angered or upset.
Oh, I didn't even see
Right.
the comment. I had my screen blown up.
Yeah, he did bring up that the Russian sub off of Florida. There is that valid? Anybody?
Oh
check
yeah,
that one out?
they're conducting nuke drills actually. In
So they're just cruising around, and that's fine. That's okay now.
with Cuba.
Good. Agree.
They got the Cubans, and I know a guy that wrote a book about the Cubans and the Russians fucking around in Florida. So it's a little disconcerting, and I'm watching it. But I was watching a video earlier. They were talking about the Russian sub being out there, and then they started showing a bunch of like ballistic missile launches, and I was just like, that's got to be stock footage. They never said in their newscasts.
That sub doesn't carry ballistic missiles. It carries their caliber cruise missile, which can be nuclear too.
Well, same thing. It's a sea-based launched ballistic missile coming out of sub, so it's the same thing, and little disconcerting.
Yes.
Little disconcerting.
Well,
Sorry, I'm checking my volume again.
On the knife stuff,
Yeah.
that thing, that looks good. That looks good.
It
in your
does,
hand.
man.
You need to
It looks so
find
good.
something to smack into that with. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it to use for sure. I gotta cut something with this.
Yeah. Cut something or someone.
Hey,
That's a
people's
school
are
track.
You
things,
never know what's
you
going to
know.
come through the door.
That's
People
not
are
a
things.
contact. That's a skull crush. That's a last of the Mohicans blade, dude.
This is a weapon, whereas the Dalton is a tool. This is a weapon.
That's it. However, that is a tool because there's a
Oh, it's
pry
very
bar
handy.
at the other end.
Yeah. And
Just
I like
got a pry bar.
the way you curve these edges opposing each other like that. Like that's super cool as far as leverage and hooking something and prying it up.
You can get up underneath it.
Yeah, you put some nice thought into this. There's some really cool shit that when you start really looking at it, you see that I didn't even notice at first. And of
Yeah,
course
that
this
is
thing.
made for prying, and then the 5 points of love right there on the back.
5 points of love.
You're a
That's the
romantic.
attitude gesture.
We started playing around too, guys, at Gahagan Customs. We started playing around with some carbon fiber 3D printing stuff. So we may be doing some of that stuff coming up.
We're looking at doing. Actually, let me go grab that real quick.
Yeah, go grab that thing, Kyle. Show him. So Kyle is, of course, making some ridiculously high-end blades right now. He's got a ladder Damascus buoy that he's working on. He's got a feather Damascus fighter, Quillian dagger. Some of these things are just they're sick. It makes me sick to see them because they're so perfect. It makes me hate Kyle. But he's been doing it for a long time. But yeah, check these little stickers out here.
Oh
Yeah.
shit! Yeah.
Is that metal detector proof?
I don't know why
Yes,
I'm
it
on the
is.
screen. There we go. There we go.
Yes, it is. So
3D
carbon
printed
fiber,
carbon fiber?
nice little.
Nylon
I'll
carbon
take 2 of
fiber.
those.
Holy crap, dude! I like that.
I'll take 2.
Got a little spot for your thumb. Get good purchase on that thing. Got some jimping on both sides, double edged.
I know
sharp
Mel's sitting there watching this right now, and I can already hear her. I want one of those for my bag. So yeah, you got another customer right here, Kyle. We're gonna take a couple.
So, and of course, we're printing the dagger holders that were the big hit at Blade that everybody wanted to buy. Awesome dagger, but everybody wanted the dagger
thing's
holders
awesome,
because the
dude.
magnet, it floated. The dagger floats in the holder. So, those 3D printers are the ticket, man. You can do so much stuff with these things. It's insane technology.
I've got 2 of them in the next room. I've got to learn how to use. I've yet to learn how to use them.
Oh yeah. No, luckily we have a CAD guy and he's really good on it. So I'd be like, hey Dean, what I need for you to do is, and he's like, oh, okay. All right, yeah, I can do that. So we just rely on Ding. I know Kyle knows how to use it. Me, I just know how to tell people how to use it.
Oh,
Like, Ding, this is my vision.
use it.
Is that the same guy that programs your CNC machines?
No, 2 different guys. Jim is the one that does all receipt. Jim is a freaking genius. That guy, he worked for NASA. and he worked for Penske. He actually used to gallivant and fly around on the jet with the Penske family. And NASA, his tolerances, he come to check us out. He really was bored. He was bored. Didn't have, he's retired. And he's like, oh yeah, my tolerances at NASA was 800 thousandths of an inch. I was like, what? You mean 8 thousandths? He said 800 thousandths of an inch. I was like, yeah, we need like 2 thousandths.
80 millions.
Oh, 800 millions? Oh, my bad.
Millions.
My bad.
Holy
like
shit.
Microscoping a microscope. Yeah, it was like, we need like 2 thousandths. That's that, it took. The only thing wrong with Jim is it took him a month to be able to handle doing sloppy work.
Yeah.
Sloppy work. Yeah.
Sloppy work. He's like, oh my gosh, do you see that? I'm like, what are you talking about, man? He's like, you can tell this is about 2 thousandths out right here. I'm like, looks perfect.
So is there going to be a Gahagan folder in the future?
Yeah.
We're actually working on one right now.
Are you?
Yes.
Because that's the next thing. That's one thing I want to do too. Is I want to come up with a folder design and do a folder. And I know they're a hell of a lot more expensive to make and all, but a folder is an everyday tool. Everybody, should carry one.
Yes.
I don't know many people that don't. But I carry one every day.
I've had some designs drawn up for a while, but we just never had anyone capable of doing it. So now we got Jim. We're gonna get that running.
That's awesome. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's a ticket.
What kind of blade profile you thinking of going with on it?
I don't know. I've got 5 of them drawn up. So I'm going to sit down and kind of figure out what sells best right now. And
that's what I like. That style right there.
How you like that knife, Chris?
I'm really liking it. This thing's nice, man.
Is that the one you got from Blade?
Yeah, that's a Chris Reeves folder.
Yep.
And I bought. It's got the micarta inlay on it, and so I bought
what I've been carrying around.
Oh yeah, I know that's
it's ridiculously big, but it actually works pretty well.
Looks like a damn
awesome
cleaver for the kitchen.
It is.
Oh yeah.
Holy shit.
That knife. If there's ever a knife that fit its owner, Kyle, that's you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big old chunk of steel. Actually, I'm going to grab a couple knives since we're doing a knife show.
Yeah, that's what we're talking. It's knives, man. Get some blades out if you want to show them. That's why I'll show. I bought Mel some knives while we were at Blade for the kitchen.
Oh, the Japanese ones?
Yeah, these Japanese ones. I brought these in. I bought Mel 4 Japanese San Mai blades. Ah, damn. Stuck right before. This is one of them. And so they're San Mai, 3 layers of steel. Just, and when you get to talk to the guy, like Kyle's making the Daltons, like this is a guy you can reach out to. And this guy too, you'll be able to talk to the man that forged the blades, that hammered these out himself. Yeah, hand forged. And they're just so nice. And
how they cut?
Like scalpels. These things are beyond razor sharp. And but yeah, these are super nice. And there's just something about having a good blade, a good piece of steel is,
Hey, that's not a knife. That's a knife.
Yeah,
that's a knife. That's a scallywag tactical.
Look at that nasty thing.
A buddy of mine owns it. Oh shit! Look at it, Sue. Jesus, that's a Viking.
Oh, Sue got a damn broad ass.
What is that? Jeez.
That's what I've been asking you guys for. T, how many times I asked you to consider pioneering tools? This is a broadaxe.
That's a broadaxe. Yeah.
And this has been hanging on my wall since I got it from my grandfather's tool collection. This is actually used in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. It's a logging tool. And I don't know anybody that makes these anymore. But
check me out.
This is look at the handle. The handle's not very big. It's got a curved handle. Right. Wow. And this is how you turn round logs into square ones with just manual labor. And nobody makes these broadaxes anymore.
Well, now you've seen the one I sent you that we're going to
considering making any logging tools or stuff like that?
not logging, but we are. There we go. Here's the one that I showed you.
Oh, shit.
This is going to be
Bearded
produced. That
Hold
is
on, let's
a
get Kyle up
bearded
there.
Viking. Look
Holy
at that
shit.
monster. Yes, I can't wait.
I
for
love that.
That would be perfect. That would work. See,
I like
now
that.
we're thinking like Vikings. I like this guy.
Yes.
Well, this is an
Even if he's
exact
too big to be
replica.
in
I
first
found a
battalion
Viking
anymore.
axe, and I took all the exact dimensions.
Wow.
This is
I'll take
Came
one.
up-
That's the real deal right there. A
Man, that's a hunk of,
representation.
that's a hunk of steel right there. That's,
I can't wait till that one gets done.
this is what
Well,
I'm
now
working
this-
on now, grinding.
Oh yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and you can't see it. That's ladder Damascus, is it not,
It is.
Kyle? When it's
Yeah.
acid in?
You can't see it because I reground it. That's what I was doing when you called earlier. I wasn't
Gotcha.
happy with some of the lines.
That's sweet.
Yeah, it's going to be a beast. What is that overall length? What is that thing? About going to probably be about 14, 15 inches long.
It's probably a 14.5-inch blade.
And
Now
you
this-
guys you're hand forging, right? Or are you doing
Stock.
Both.
both? Okay. All right. So I figured it
Yeah,
was both.
those there, that's hand forged.
That's what I figured, yeah. That Damascus,
Yeah,
yeah.
Kyle did all the Damascus right there, pressed it all out and forged it out, the whole thing. All those big knives like that, one-offs are all hand forged. Now, this one here I'll never sell, but I'll throw it up here just because it makes everybody envious.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
I can see that right there.
Put him up there, Russ, so everybody can see that thing bigger. Because I don't know how to do that. There it is. Yeah, I know where that one
That's
came
the-
from. I've seen that one
That's the-
before.
That's
I've
the
seen that
Alan K. That's the
Yeah.
Alan K. kukri that he carried in Africa that he
Yep.
gave me.
That he
As
killed
you can see, that
that
thing's like
he killed that big ass antelope, that giant antelope, that Tom Bunker, whatever it was.
Yeah,
he
that's a
threw that
beast,
killer.
man. And then I collect these because, well, this in here, I found this big pile of knives at Kyle's, and I'm like digging through it. I was like, "What's this?" Guy's like, "Oh, yeah, it's my prototype of the Persian." I was like, "Well, I got to have that." So this is the Persian. This
Oh,
is the very
shit.
first. There's the very first blade that was the prototype. That's 3/8 of an inch, no, quarter
Yeah.
inch steel or 3/8,
That's
Kyle.
3/8.
3/8 on that one, I remember. Yeah.
3/8 to 0. You can see how thin the geometry is on that.
Is that a
And
true
then-
Scandi all the way out to the end, all the way out to the edge, Kyle?
What's that?
Yeah,
Is
look
that
at
like a true Scandi all the way down, or is there a
It's a flat grind.
just flat grind?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, flat grind.
So if you
all the way
look,
down.
it's 0.
Wow.
Goes to 0.
Yeah.
But that
Yeah, you
thing is just sick.
You get
Yeah.
72 virgins when you buy that knife.
Pretty much. Pretty much. That's part of a package deal.
Yeah. That's a pretty blade. It's a mean looking blade. I mean, it looks
That's
mean.
all. That was all hand forged and hand ground.
So, like what Sue was talking about, I've got an idea for something that I want to talk to you guys about. It'll be aimed at the bushcraft market, and it'll be a kit. It'll have 4 to 5 different tools in it, and it would be in a canvas roll or a leather roll. And I don't even want to talk about it here because I want somebody else to make it. But I've seen a picture of this thing one time, never been able to find who made it or anything. But I'll talk to you about that. T, I'll call you tomorrow because this is something we could do that would be very unique along the lines of what Sue's talking about. And I think it would sell extremely well because it's aimed at a particular market who's super into their blades and stuff. And there's
Yes.
nothing else out there like what I want to make. So
Well, now here's I'm pretty proud of this one here because this was my very first big knife that I made. And before this, I only made 2 little baby knives. And then this was my third. And since everybody likes kukris on here, I love sub hilts. They're horrible for holding in reverse. But this was my very first big blade that I made. I ended up with a natural hamon in it that you can see there in the blade. And so
Nice, man.
I was pretty happy with what that one ended up. But that was my first big chopper. That's kind of a hybrid kukri that I did with a sub hilt. Pretty good stuff.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, I'll talk to you about this other thing I'm going to do tomorrow.
Yeah, man.
I think it would. I know it would sell exceptionally well because it's aimed right at one market that would really like something like this. So,
Yeah,
and it'd be
give
super handy.
me a jingle.
Yeah, I'll holler at you tomorrow about it for sure. I'll be in the office.
Yeah, for sure.
But what are we looking at, Kyle? About a month before those Daltons are ready? Sorry, T. About a month before they're ready?
No,
I don't
you're
know.
good.
I've got to check with the lady with the box. I'll let you know probably tomorrow once things get that rendering done. But more likely, with the boxes, it takes about a month to get them.
Yeah. I got to order book boxes so I can relate. I know.
Of course. Has any of y'all ever heard of the Spyderco Civilian folder?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Used to carry
That was one I had to buy. It's only good for doing one thing, but that is one of the most sick, twisted blades for a folder I've ever seen.
Bring out your dad.
And all serrated front to back with that bill. It's like the thing's like a scalpel.
Yeah, that's ugly.
Nasty. Love knives. This is why I had to go for a job with my knives. I started hanging out with Kyle, and then I started buying Kyle Gahagan knives, and then I'd come home with a second Kyle Gahagan knife, and Amber was like, "We can't afford to be buying these Kyle Gahagan knives all the time." I'm like, damn it. I guess I got to start making knives, so that's what we did.
That's hilarious. So, all right, I guess we don't have very many comments or questions, because I was like, if y'all got questions, put them up there. We have them on the screen for y'all. Because you got a knife making wizard in the house right now. Two of them, actually. One in training and one pure wizard. But I'm going to say T's off to a hell of a start. Like,
he is. I've been pretty impressed with his skills.
Yeah, I seeing the first blade you made, and then what you turned out here is impressive. So I don't have time to learn to make knives. So the next best thing is to have good friends that like to make knives.
Yeah, I've made a few in my life, but I just don't have the time or the facilities to set it up. But that's why there's great makers out there to make your vision come.
I'll tell you, those I've had a couple people, the price on those Hawks are not cheap, guys. And there's a reason for that. Yeah. One, just like you said, cheap blades. You get what you pay for. That Hawk right there, that is 2 pounds of 80 CRV2. The thing has 5 pieces to it. 5 pieces are forged weld together to make the thicknesses that it needs. And it's 16 inches long. And that thing is all hand forged, hand grind. Even the scales on it, the flint knap scales are hand ground. So
and that is such a nice grip, man. That is like just locks into your hand. I mean,
so a little fact that most people don't know is on the medieval battlefield, swords were very rare, and really swords were only effective for later periods when people were on horseback. The warhammer and axes were the weapon of choice because they were more effective. You could pull down shields. You had more energy when you hit with them. They were more durable. Old swords would snap with the way the steel was made. Everybody in a movie, there's 10,000 MFers coming at each other with swords. That's just not the reality of what really went down. Swords were there was like having a cruise missile. Only the wealthiest people had swords. So.
Yeah. So somebody asked about the price on the Dalton, and it will be about $350. $349, whatever that is. It's gonna be right there. But Hardway Alaska is asking if you guys make anything for skinning, fleshing, or fleshing fur knives. Like fleshing knives would be cool. Those would be nice because that's a very unique tool for doing it properly.
Kyle?
That's actually, we have one in process for skinning / fleshing. One of the Joe Ted-Eye knives that's going to be in the series has a kukri / fleshing type blade for it.
Sue's holding up his broad axe. He's like, "This is a good fleshing blade."
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah, tree fleshing.
Yeah,
we do have some fillet knives that we're working on as well.
This is.
Oh, really?
You could use this when you're fleshing out a whale. They did that a lot in Alaska.
Yeah.
Blubber cutter.
I even did some weird stuff. This here was a strange little blade. I decided it's like a wand. I called it. This is a pineapple twist on one end, and then I did a double fuller on the other end, and then I twisted it out and then ground it into a point. That's my twisted pineapple deluxe, is what I call that. Some weird little
Harry
fight.
Potter wand.
It's like
It does look like a Harry Potter wand
to stab people with.
Y'all need Jesus.
Y'all need Jesus.
Yeah.
Holy crap. So let's talk about Amber real quick, because this is a big deal. She's a magistrate now, right? What court is she in? Just city court or?
She does multiple. Well, it's Wilkes County, so she will be. She goes around from Wilkes to Ashe. There's a couple adjoining counties, and she handles, the more small claims. It'll be, traffic stops and, DUIs, whatever. It's all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, I've been trying to guys like, look, you got to get one of them wigs. I've been trying to get one of these wigs. She told me it's not a thing anymore.
Order in the court.
Yeah.
Actually, the British court, they still wear it. All the solicitors still wear them. So they're out there. She might have to buy one out of the UK, but you can get you a UK powdered wig.
I'm gonna get them on. I'm gonna get online and see if I can get one of those shipped on down here to North Kakalaki, because I think she needs that in her life there on the stand.
That would look so funny.
That would be awesome.
She hit the husband fucking lotto with you, didn't she?
That's what I've been saying for years. Man. We were actually talking about that at court. There were a few of the police officers were there that we know, and they're like, "So what happens when T is standing in front of you?" I'm like, "Hey, look, yeah, we don't have to jump to conclusions. Don't put me into that whole spot like I'm going to do something wrong now. I've been doing stuff wrong for years."
Yeah, I'm not going to start now. Been started.
What do you mean now?
Well, I'm just
another forging class at Mountain Readiness. Yes, Matthew King, we will. Or you could just come down and do a class with us right here at the Forge. That would work too. There's something, Chris. That would be awesome. What if we did a forging class at the Forge? Get a bunch of the patrons together.
Yeah,
and do
we absolutely could. We could pick a day.
Do a weekend forging class.
Make it a thing. That'd be awesome. And everybody gets to take home a blade.
Everybody takes home a blade. Basically, $100 a person, covers all material, all that kind of stuff. You guys come down. We'll do a day of forging, and then if everybody wants to do handles, it takes a second day, about a half a day to do that. But that would be sweet. Everybody come down and make a knife.
$100, I get to take home a broad axe, right?
If you can hand forge that broad axe in one day, I will pay for it.
Hey, for $150, you take home a broad.
Take home a broad. Yeah, Sue's too good at that.
Yeah, but depending on what corner you get it for a lot cheaper.
And you get to go visit Amber if you get caught.
Oh shit!
There is that.
Yeah, you need to make her. You need to make her a custom gavel, dude. You guys need to make her a custom gavel. She needs a custom-made gavel. And what did you say, Sue?
I was going to say, Donnie, if this comes from 70, it comes with 72 virgins, I bet you they all have beards and they're wearing kilts like you do.
And wearing kilts.
So I just wanted to make a point again about when you buy a knife from Gahagan or some of the more customized, specialized makers, there's a lot that goes into not just the making of the knife, which is a lot of work, the precision, the attention to detail, the customer service and support, but the design and everything that goes into making a functional tool, because, that's the most important tool in your kit. You're going to use a knife 10,000 times more than you use a gun as a rule. It's going to be an everyday thing. So when you spend a little bit more, you get a lot more. And I'm not saying that SE and Becker, and there's some great knives that are production oriented you can buy, but it's different. The edge, the way it works, the durability, and really pride of ownership. If you're actually out and that knife or blade or axe or tomahawk or whatever, that's a life raft for you. It really is. I mean, next to a cup, Chris, as you taught me, the next most important thing you want in the bush or anywhere really is a blade, a good, sturdy, functional blade. And if you have something that has multiple purposes on it, that's just a bonus. So, me and Kyle and T and the crew, they take a lot of pride in what they do. They put a lot of work in what they do. And, it's not like they're on the stock market. They're trying to make a living. So support companies like that. It's a big deal. And you'll in turn get a tool that is an heirloom piece that your great grandchildren can have.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
I take a lot of pride in making sure that the edge geometry is spot on for the purpose of whatever that knife you used for. I was actually teaching a edge geometry class at one of the guilds, and they were talking about, Gahagan make those pretty knives. They're not really useful. So I don't know what you're talking about, edge geometry. So they made a bet with me that we would do a cutting competition, and the winner takes all the blades. So I forgot about it until like the day before. I made a knife. It was a Sanmai with a koa handle. I made the prettiest knife that I could in that day, just so that because they were messing with me about having pretty knives. But I made sure the edge geometry is right. I let every one of them go first. Went through the cutting competition, cut through a 2x4, cut through a rope, cut through a straw, cut through some Coke cans, and then cut through a 2x4 again. So they all went. They got their times. And with that knife, I finished the whole course in less time than it took for them to cut through the first 2x4. They all reluctantly wanted to were going to hand over their knives. I told them to keep them. I didn't want their ugly knives.
I didn't want their ugly non-chopping knives.
Just so everybody knows,
junky, ugly knives.
But I mean, edge geometry. Every knife has a certain purpose, what you're using for, and you gotta understand the edge geometry for that purpose. I mean, you're not going to go in there and try to skin something with a 1/4 inch
candy grind.
I mean,
yeah,
Scandi grinds are designed for, essentially, they're originally designed for whittling.
Yeah. They're not a good chopper.
No, they're not a good chopper. They're not a good slicer. I mean, they'll do the job, but they're not ideal for that situation. And
they're good for making cutting, fine cuts on wood. Yeah. I mean, they're really good at that. Like, so I heard a rumor that Chuck Norris buys all of his knives from you, Kyle. Is that true?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
100%. 100%.
Anything. That's the only thing tougher than Chuck Norris.
Your knives? Is that the only thing? Yeah, there you go.
That geometry is a big deal, man. Like, it makes all the difference in a knife that works easy or a knife that struggles.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And it's overlooked.
Yeah, a lot of people just go for aesthetics. I mean, they want it to look pretty, but they don't take in consider. I mean, that knife right there will chop, it'll slice. I mean, that tip on it goes down to a needle point.
This thing,
anything.
This thing, I can slice paper with this. And now remember, this is 3/8 of an inch thick. And this thing will slice paper off. Oh, yeah, it just, yeah.
Oh, shit.
That thing's like, yeah, it's sick. It's sick.
Yeah,
you
that's
can
sharp.
cut the skin hair off of an infidel with that.
Yes. It's like, hair, this thing, just all your hair is instantly gone. I don't know if you can see it. There's all my hair gone. So blade geometry is a huge thing, guys.
You should have saved that to make a blessing later.
Yeah, just throw it over my shoulder. Yeah.
Have a tea ceremony in your house. Wait.
No, like do the Allen blessing to the war camp. It's hilarious. It's the funniest shit in the world.
Yeah.
I have pubic hair.
I amputated 3 of my toes.
If you guys ever want to, you know what we should do? Sell tickets and raffle off going to eat sushi with Alan K.
You going to eat sushi
with Alan K.
Oh, dude, trust me.
You guys, the sushi restaurant you were at there in Atlanta.
People,
it was that.
That place. I wish you guys would have been on it. That was so funny. It was like our waiter was also the cook. We think he was the owner, and he was hilarious. The guy was like, he was on point. We're all getting ready to leave, and he looks at Donnie. He's like, "You dishes now."
And I also have to, Kaylee, Donnie's better half. She just popped up here. Huh?
Joey.
No, Joey.
Joey. Why is her name?
Oh, that's her alias. I'm sorry. That's her alias. Yes.
I was wondering. I was like, okay, it's.
I forget
she strapped that.
She gets banned from Facebook all the time and has different names. But go ahead. Sorry.
Man, I enjoyed talking with her. That she had me cracking up, man. I'll tell you, Donnie, that's a heck of a woman there. I was crying.
Awesome. You should see her shoot. I'm sure Carl told you the story of when she did
the ammo tins standing her up.
Yeah.
The second best time of anybody.
Yeah.
That was awesome. No, she had that tomahawk on her back.
Yeah,
the tomahawk literally come from her shoulders down to her knees.
Like she was carrying a broadsword battle axe.
Yeah.
Braveheart.
It's so random. Peeps don't show up at my house.
That's it.
Well, Kyle, you got anything you wanna leave with everybody tonight, man?
Nothing I can think of. I mean, like I said, I look forward to seeing how that Dalton does.
Me too. We got a lot of money wrapped up in that.
It should do well. I mean, not just because I designed it. I would buy this knife, if somebody else did it. I mean, of course I can't carry one because that's bad juju. You can't carry a knife designed or built. Yeah. You know how that goes. So I'm going to have some Gahagans to carry around with me. You know how that goes.
Yeah, buddy. Well, and I'll second what Donnie said, guys. I always wondered prices on knives until I told Kyle, I was like, I'm going to do some hand forging. I want to forge out a billet of Damascus by hand. And he's like, you ain't going to want to do that. That was stupid. That lasted about 10 minutes. So, when you look at the work that goes into these things, man, we were at Blade, and there was an old gentleman there that had he had an axe. Now, don't get me wrong, this axe, I would never use it. It was $90,000. Okay. 90 grand for this thing. It was embossed with gold and jewels. But I said, sir, how long? It was gorgeous. I said, how long did you spend making this? He said, I spent 12 years making that axe. And if you've seen this axe, you would say, oh my gosh, I've never seen an axe that looked like that. And think about that. We're not spending 12 years, but I guarantee you that Warhawk, I've got all of 2.5 days solid in just getting that thing put together, forging it, cleaning it all up and bluing it and sharpening it and getting the scales on it and making all this. And at the end of the day, that's a part of your life that's gone. When you hold that finished product and you hand it off, that's a piece of your life that you never get back that you just sold. So, yeah, man, pride's a big thing when it comes to anything, not just making knives, but making anything with your hands like that. But for us, blades is really we put a piece of ourselves into that tool, into that blade, when we pass that on to the buyer. So
blood, sweat, and tears. Yeah, for sure. So, Sue, you got anything you want to leave everybody with this evening?
I just been looking forward to all these knives coming out. Sorry I missed Blade Show, but they got to move it from Atlanta because the only thing I like about Atlanta was that General Sherman burned it down. But I didn't get a chance. I'm only 2 hours out of Atlanta, but I just didn't get a chance, guys. I really wanted to go, but I had the neighbor calling the cops on me and everything like that. So it turned out fun. At least in Jackson County, North Carolina, you are allowed to shoot in the country in your backyard. So yeah, these neighbors of mine can go back to Tampa and go live in an HOA where they came from.
No, they're from New York, not Tampa.
I come out good. All right.
That's good.
damn.
But yeah, great job. I thought T was going to give me the first tomahawk, so I'm jealous. But
Well, I
we'll talk about that later.
You know, I have the first batch of tomahawks sitting there. So Chris got the first completed one, but the first batch is still there in a pot. Just saying.
Yeah. And I got the first one just because I wanted to be the first customer. I wanted the first finished one. Because like T just said, they put a piece of themselves in stuff like this, and not only is this a badass tomahawk, it's T's tomahawk.
Well, the beautiful thing about T's tomahawk is if you're by yourself and lonely, it can talk to you.
It can. It already has.
Yeah, well,
it already has.
It's like T said that. The first batch. I got a batch of ex-wives, so I guess my wife would feel the same way I do right now. All right.
Yeah, this thing talks to me, but it's an evil prick. I'll tell you that right now. It's got some bloodlust. It's
you got to watch that guy. Well, what do you expect from a hawk that has a wife who's a magistrate?
Yeah, and look at the sheath, even guys. The sheath of this thing is so perfect. Like that's so nice.
That sheath come out good.
Dude,
only God and my wife can judge me.
Yeah. All right, go up to Wilkes County and fuck up. Amber will judge you. And on that note, y'all, thanks for hanging out. We will be doing a Facebook Live tomorrow night here again, and then next week we'll be off to the races doing all three things again. So, Kyle, thanks for being here, dude. Thanks for working on the Dalton, and T, man, thanks to you for bringing Kyle into our sphere stuff where we got a new friend that's doing some beautiful, beautiful steel work.
Kyle's amazing. He's really
cool. And we like to support the guys in our community. That's why I told you, T, I'm like, no, I'll pay a full price for your tomahawk, dude. Whatever retail is, that's what I'm paying because, again, it means something to me. Yeah. And you guys noticed, like when Kyle gave me a price on the Daltons, I didn't bicker. I didn't say that's the number.
I'm gonna fucking dicker around with you totally there, T, because I ain't rich like him.
I'm not rich either.
We can work out some of that indentured servitude stuff.
There you go,
Kyle. I get the first Viking axe. I get that.
Okay.
To replace my
Put
broad
you down
axe.
for it.
Yeah, there you go. Hell yeah.
Somebody breaks into his house. He comes out naked with a cowboy hat and a Viking axe.
And a loincloth. Unfortunately, there's a picture of Sue
naked,
in a loincloth.
It's a breech cloth, not a loincloth.
You need that axe where you're covered in mud and the loincloth up on the tree branch in that picture. Just holding that big axe. We need to add that to that picture.
That'd be good.
Come on, T.
Yeah. Okay. All right. He's just trying to see me naked again.
I can tell.
He's just trying to see me naked again, T.
You gotta do that. You can ask nicely.
Well, y'all, Donnie, thanks for being here tonight too, buddy. We'll have, like I said, you're gonna fill in for Emery's slot. Yep. We'll see what happens while he's gone and when he gets back, and we'll definitely be having you around, keeping you around more now that we're back to doing this stuff again with you. I'm saying I want to keep you on.
Yeah, so. Absolutely.
So you guys know the drill. Be good at it. Catch you next week. And watch for ISIS. Definitely.
Go with God.